Hello again. I'm going to make a chocolate marble cake today. It's great fun because when you cut into the cake you never really know what sort of a shape you're going to find. And the last one I made, I could see a spider but somebody else could see a crown. So let's see what happens. Now I've got the oven onto gas mark 4 and we need to grease and prepare our tin. I've got one of these liners that fits in my £2 tin really neatly. If you don't have one, you can simply take that out. Cut a long strip of greaseproof paper. Grease the tin first so the paper sticks, and then put that in the bottom like that, and the paper will stick, and then when the cake is cooked you simply go down the sides to release it, and then you've got 2 handles to lift the cake out. So that's a really easy way of lining a tin for a loaf, but because I simply have got these things, I'm going to use one of those. Now the first thing we need is 50 grams of dark chocolate chips. And I haven't got dark chocolate chips, I've got a bar of cooking chocolate that's dark, and we've got to melt that. I'm doing it over a saucepan of hot water because I find it's just easier to control than if it's in the microwave. You do it however you like, but we've got to melt those chocolate chips. So I've got some water out of the kettle in the bottom of my pan. I'm going to put it on a very gentle heat on the cooker and just get that to melt. Now I've got my chocolate melted. I ought to have said to you, don't let the bowl touch the water because it will cook the chocolate, so just a little bit of water in the bottom and the bowl must sit above the water. Now in my mixing bowl I've got 175 grams of either margarine or unsalted butter, and I'm going to put in 200 grams of caster sugar, and for speed I'm going to mix it together with my splendid little hand mixer. It's always worth taking a minute or two to do this because this is quite important, this process of creaming. It's when a lot of the air gets mixed into your cake mixture. Now the next thing to do is the eggs, and I've got 3 eggs. I like to do them one at a time just in case you get one that's bad, because if you've got 3 eggs going in a bowl, if you add the last one and it's bad, it will make the other 2 bad as well. So first one. You don't really need to mix it up with a fork, just in it goes. And then get it into your creamed mixture. That's the first one. Second one. It's got quite a thick membrane on that shell, so I didn't want to crack it. In it goes. Now the last one. Oh, and there's some shell in there. Now it's much easier to get the shell out of here than it would be if you had done it straight into the cake. So handle of the fork, ever so easy to pick up that piece of shell, and then the egg can go in. I just wiped it on the egg carton. Next thing is a teaspoon of vanilla essence or extract, whichever you have got. I've got my little measuring spoons for this. That's that. I'm going to mix that in very quickly. And now the flour. I've got 175 grams of self-raising flour. That goes in. Again, start a bit slowly this time round because it will fly up in your face if you're not careful. Right, now the fun bit. We take our chocolate, get rid of that spoon for a minute whilst I put in half of this cake mixture into the chocolate, so just guess. And you can see why you would want to let the chocolate cool a little bit, because otherwise it's going to give you a bit of a scrambled egg situation with your cake mixture. There we are. Half of my cake is in there, and now I stir those together, and that's going to turn that into chocolate cake. Go right down to the bottom. It doesn't really want to mix as easily as you would imagine. There we are, so that's ready. Now, get the beaters out, and we go back to our tin and we start getting it into the lined tin. I tend to do it like this so that you're coming from either side of the tin. And what you do is put a blob of the vanilla. I'm going to just give that a stir around. A blob of the vanilla goes in first. And you can use a finger to push it off, but don't lick that finger for goodness sake. And then a blob of the chocolate goes next to it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So now, a blob of the vanilla goes next to the chocolate one. And it's soft, so it tends to run, don't worry about that. And then a blob of the chocolate one. So you can see we're getting alternate blobs. Chocolate and vanilla, vanilla and chocolate. Another blob of vanilla over here. Let's give it that bit as well. And then a bit more of the chocolate one in that corner. Now we go back and do it again, but we put them on top of the other colour. So I'm going to put chocolate on top of vanilla. Vanilla on top of chocolate. You get the idea. This is great fun. It really is. Now I'm going to do the swirl, and I'm going to simply use the handle of my spoon. You could use a skewer or a sharp knife, and I'm going to do a figure of 8 that comes down here and goes round there. And then I'm going to go back again, and then straight down the middle. And that's all you have to do. Just enough to blend them a little bit. If you do too much stirring, you'll finish up with just brown cake that's just very pale brown. A little bit of swirling and you'll get an interesting pattern inside it. So now it goes in the oven. So it's going to go on a middle shelf, and it's going to take 50 to 60 minutes because it's quite a big cake. So be patient with this one. Now the timer has gone, it's had 55 minutes, so let's see how it looks. And I've got a skewer ready just to test it. It's well risen. You see it's swirly brown on the top, and you put your skewer into one of the holes that's already there and go right down to the bottom of the pan. Bring it out again. And if it's clean, it means it's cooked. So we're good to go. Turn the oven off. That needs to be allowed to cool for 10 minutes in the tin, and then we'll take it out of the tin and let it finish cooling, and then I'm going to have a slice of that with a cup of tea. So here we are, here's our cake. I'm going to just unpeel the end and cut a slice, and we'll see what sort of a shape we get. There we are. Well, it's just a swirl, but it's a marble cake, so that's fine. So have a go at this, I hope you like it. Send us a photo, and happy cooking. Bye.